Hello, my beautiful rainbow children. Welcome back to the Pot Smuckers Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of Pot Smuckers Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament, of the Christian Bible. I use the King James Version of the Bible to put together the prophecy of Israel from the scattered testimony of the various Old Testament prophets. It became the Book of Zion, a book written entirely in Bible verse. I found contained within the Book of Zion a set of instructions that I was uniquely qualified to undertake. So I did. And as the very last thing that I'm required to do, I'm publishing peace here on this YouTube channel and social media platform by reading to you the manuscripts of the two books that I have written. And today I'm reading to you from the 27th chapter of the Potsmoker's Bible. It contains the final chapter of the Book of Zion, the 24th chapter. It's called In the Last Days. In my last video, I was talking about the possible collapse of the Ogallala Aquifer here in the state of Nebraska. And so I'm going to pick up where I left off. The reason I chose to include this theory is because I think it might have prophetic ramifications. The prophecy is written in such a way to hint at perhaps more than one event. We are seeing visions of earth changes that reconfigures North America. It shows the Great Lakes as a sea dividing the continent. The collapse of the Ogallala Aquifer could create this change as no other would. These visions come from God. I can't imagine the seismic event this would create. The sheer size of the roof of the aquifer is mind-boggling to a theologian like me. The impact of such a collapse would likely rock the earth. It would certainly change it forever, which is the point. It's what the prophecy foretells, a new heavens and a new earth. While the Ogallala Aquifer may not pack enough of a punch to change our orbit and preclude the need for an outside impact, there could be more than one event foretold. The repetition of the passages referring to this varies enough to suggest a series of events that leads to our possible demise. Now, Jesus suggested a series of such events as the birth pangs of our Earth's evolution. So it may be one of many events to come that will forever change our world. Which brings us to the end game, fire. The prophets tell us in no uncertain terms that all who refuse to take shelter in caves will burn. They will be ashes under our feet. It says that no living thing will survive on the surface. No one will live. There is no trace of any chance of survival. The fire will destroy everything. It will leave only charred bones. No enemy will live to fight us. Our world will be ashes and dust, bones and memories, soon forgotten. I have cried a stream of tears for those bones. I wish that I could save every man, woman, and child. But there is a balance to nature, and we have disrupted that balance. There are just too many lower life forms dressed up in human skin. Our level of evolution is calibrated in frequencies. The higher the frequency, the higher the level of the soul. But by that measure, only about a third of us qualify as human embodiments. The rest have been elevated prematurely. They will not resonate with the idea of Zion, and they will return to their natural place in evolution after the fireball. This fireball earth will cleanse the surface of the contaminants enough to allow life to thrive once again. We will have to remove all of the bones that litter the earth. But then we will be able to rebuild. We will be free to evolve into a better human creature, guided by the aliens, who are our truest parents and friends. When we emerge from our shelter, we will be greeted by our alien friends and family members. We will be given all of the aid that we need to rebuild before and after this event. We will be given much needed aid so that we can help ourselves. Now, they aren't our overlords, nor are they a free ride. They are our older parent relatives. They are the gods of our ancestors, and they offer us their eternal friendship. I haven't talked about all of the dire threats that we face. Many preppers are screaming, "What about," you fill in the blank? Debt, oil, World War III, cyber strikes, and AI takeovers. The list is endless. Pollution. The threats are very real, and it will be a combination of these factors that will lead to the demise of this society. But the fireball earth is unescapable. It is the final blow to our current civilization. And its fuel source is methane. We have killed ourselves by releasing the methane. It was the one line that we could not cross and survive. We crossed it in 1988. The Gray didn't act in regards to Kenny and myself from 1979, when we were designated, until 1988. Then they activated me. They activated my telepathy. I was their safeguard. As long as we didn't doom ourselves, I was allowed to drift in my misery. Kenny wasn't touched until it became a matter of human survival. It had nothing to do with their needs. By that time, they had viable children. They did this to save us, pure and simple. But by their own intergalactic law, they could not interfere with us without dire necessity. We had to cross the line. The release of methane made our future survival impossible without their intervention. So, when they linked Kenny and I together, they intervened. Not because they want to do us harm, but because they want us to survive. However, we must now follow intergalactic law. Our days of money for nothing and checks for free are over. They are now the true authority on the planet Earth. Kenny and I are their representatives. We speak for them. They speak through us. This is what we are, the authority of the universe, elected by trial of right, overcoming all obstacles to speak for those above us. We have been asking, are we alone? No, we are most definitely not alone. We are part of a greater intergalactic empire. which is allied to a universal domain that expands far beyond our view. We are part of something much, much bigger. We are a chosen spokespeople for that authority. However, we are their trained leaders. We've been taught moral law and judgment. We are given the abilities to use that learned authority to provide for the salvation of our race. Ignorance is a form of restraint. People who don't believe in a thing are denied its power. So, to be taught to use an ability that the rest of the population doesn't believe in grants us an authority that is unavoidable. When the great come, they will speak the laws that we are now subject to. As a witness to this society, I am the living record of humanity's fault and of its triumphs. I once said in a prayer that I offered myself up to God. And the threefold God answered. They answered. And when they come at my request. I have earned the right to witness. Kenny has earned the right to rule. Together we bring unity, salvation of life on earth, a beautiful future for those who are able to adjust to it. In the coming years, laws will be enforced by our new friends. These laws are essential to the preservation of life on this planet. Having had earned the right to do so, we will begin. We must reduce our use of resources. Every item we create is a nail in our coffin. Stop buying crap. We must stop endlessly, mindlessly creating junk in industry. Stop buying crap. That way, the air will be less deadly to our children. Money, things. These are their society's deadliest weapons. Stop buying junk. Stop making junk in huge, endless quantities. Stop buying wholesale objects of art. And find a local artisan to create for you a unique piece of art especially made for you. Reduce the waste. The waste. The waste of resources and life. We will by law disband the corporations. All manufacturing that is not life-sustaining will be closed down immediately. All lost jobs will be replaced by guild placements. Retraining, rebuilding the infrastructure, and conversion of renewable power sources will be the only priority of the nation. By intergalactic decree, all homeless people will be placed in dwellings until able to be relocated. There will be no exceptions to this. All government employees will oversee this project. All empty beds will be filled in every home in the world. If you have an empty bed, fill it. If you have an unlived-in room, it will be occupied. This will be the law. And so may the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm. May they teach you right from wrong, and may you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, being your way. Find your joy and pursue it, and make that your guild choice when we get to Zion. Stay happy and high. If you use drugs, you have every right and reason to. Believe me, I know. I wrote 2 books about it. My name is Zion, and I love you way too much to ever say goodbye. So I'm going to say later now.